up on Nittany Game Week.
Ultimately, I believe a new leader can help us win a national championship, and now is the right time for this change.
3 consecutive losses, including 2 when the Nittany Lions were over 20-point favorites. And the James Franklin era is suddenly over. Why Pat Kraft says the change needed to be made sooner rather than later.
We need to get back to enjoying ball, being tough, gritty, and passionate.
Terry Smith takes over as the interim coach. There's only one other guy in the program's history to be in that situation before, and he's our very own Tom Bradley. Scrap gives us some insight into the challenges in front of Coach Smith. And his contributions to Penn State are many. We recap an impactful 12 years at the helm of the Nittany Lions for James Franklin. This is Nittany Game Week.
We are all incredibly fortunate to have had James Franklin lead our football program for over a decade. And we will be forever grateful to him and his family. We wish them nothing, and I mean this, I wish them nothing but success in the next chapter of their lives.
Another shocking loss is followed up by the stunning removal of James Franklin as the head coach for Penn State. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nittany Game Week. I'm Todd Sadowski alongside former Nittany Lions coaches Jay Paterno and Tom Bradley. Safe to say none of us anticipated this discussion a few short weeks ago. After a double overtime loss in the whiteout to Oregon, Penn State's been on the wrong side of consecutive upsets as heavy favorites, and Pat Kraft announces the decision. Guys, what's your reaction to the removal of James Franklin as head coach midway through the season?
Well, I think the die had been cast. The atmosphere and everything had been one that everybody could kind of see this coming, rightly or wrongly. Just surprised how quickly it happened, but obviously we hope everybody going forward, everything is for the best for everyone.
Yeah, I think the one thing they want to get behind this team. Yeah. Whatever it takes, get behind the team. What's happened. Can't do anything about it. Let's move on. There's a lot of football left, a lot of goals left, a lot of chances for guys to prove how good they are and where they can go. Guys banking on pro careers. You know, people are going to watch their film. So, hey, this isn't the time. It's behind us. Let's get ready for the next one.
Yeah, certainly affects a lot of people. The loss to the Wildcats ends early Saturday night. Less than 24 hours later, the decision is final and made official. We start our opening drive with Ryan Yee's recap of Monday's press conferences in our opening drive.
Penn State is searching for a new face of the Nittany Lions football program.
Football is our backbone. We have invested at the highest level. With that comes high expectations. Ultimately, I believe a new leader can help us win a national championship, and now is the right time for this change.
Following Saturday's shocking defeat against Northwestern, the third loss in a row, Penn State fire head coach James Franklin after 12 seasons. Franklin will be paid a $49 million buyout, the second highest in college football history. VP of Intercollegiate Athletics Pat Kraft says all money from the buyout will be coming from athletics, not education. Kraft added this decision was not made lightly.
It's about where are we as a program? Where are we going? How do I give my student athletes the best chance to win? How do I continue to build this to a place that we are the best program in the country? That's the motivation.
For now, cornerbacks coach Terry Smith, who played at PSU under Joe Paterno, will take over. Smith joins Tom Bradley, who took over after Paterno's firing, as the only interim head coach in PSU history. Smith expects things to turn around under his leadership.
I promise we're going to put a better product on the field that every Penn Stater is going to be super proud of.
The looming question, though, who will be the 17th head coach of the Penn State Nittany Lions football team?
Our next coach will be someone who embodies everything Penn State stands for: integrity, accountability, toughness, humility, and an elite motivator.
So just like the midseason construction happening here at West Shore Home Field at Beaver Stadium, the Nittany Lions will also be doing some rebuilding from the ground up. In State College, I'm Ryan Yee for Nittany Game Week.
Thank you, Ryan. Amazing how quickly things can change. And for Terry Smith, he's now thrust into a role only one other person has experienced, and that's you, Tom. In fact, you recruited Terry as a player, So I know you two share a special connection. What challenges is he dealing with right now?
Well, there's a million things going on that he never even thought of. You know, it's not just, everybody talks about the football part of it, but there's other things going on. You know, the academics, you know, you got to bring kids into your office. Hey, someone missed class, someone didn't do this. There's all the different things you you stood and go, man, the head coach had to deal with this too. You know, that's what happens because there's things, and there's calls from parents, there's calls from friends. It's a million different things going on.
Well, and I know you think he's the guy that can handle that job. And it's not an easy one, Jay, for Coach Smith, who's trying to keep a team that's lost 3 consecutive Big Ten games together and prepare them for the roughest stretch of their schedule. And oh, by the way, their senior quarterback, Drew Aller, suffers a season-ending injury. Just a brutal way for Drew's college career to come to a close.
No question. And Drew's obviously won't take another snap for Penn State. And I got to tell you, nobody has competed harder the last 3 weeks than he has. It's unfortunate the results that we got in terms of the win-loss record, but he really gave everything he had. I think now you take a redshirt freshman on the road, you go to Iowa, you got at Ohio State. You're looking at some of the best defenses in the country. You know, Iowa is 7th in total defense. Ohio State's 4th, tied with Indiana, who's 4th, who's the next team. And these are tough environments. You're playing a defensive coordinator at Iowa who's been there a long time and who's ranked over a course of 15, 16 years, ranked 2nd in a number of categories across that spectrum. So it's going to be a tough road to go.
Ethan Grunkemeier's called into action. Lions go for it on 4th and 3 around their own 30 with a few minutes to go, down 1, and Grunkemeier was met with force by a couple of Wildcats to stop them short. Now they proceeded to run out the clock for the 1-point win, but afterwards Coach Franklin takes the blame for another puzzling setback.
Again, at the end of the day, it is on my responsibility completely, and I take full responsibility for all of it. I hired all the staff. I recruited all the players. Believe in all of them, but at the end of the day, we're not getting it done right now. And again, I own that.
I don't really care what nobody else say about the people in the locker room, to be honest with you. But we got to get better, man. I know my brothers. I know who they are. I know how much work we put in. So we got to find a way to get up out of this hole we in right now.
A rough scene leaving the field, a loud chorus of boos as Coach Franklin walks through the tunnel. Now, we're going to have more on Coach Franklin's overall impact on the program a little later in the show. It is a difficult road ahead for the Nittany Lions with 3 ranked opponents in the final 6 games, including the number 1 and number 3 teams in the country. That's with your backup QB now in the starter's role. But here's some video of Grunkemeier directing a touchdown drive against Nevada in the opener. A night game at Iowa followed by Ohio State and Indiana is a daunting task, guys, for sure. Go ahead.
No question about it. And again, you're dealing with teams that are veteran teams that you're going to play. It's going to be, but on the same token, if I'm coaching them, I'm telling them, hey, you're playing with house money. Just go out and have fun, sling the ball. No one expects you to succeed. We know how good you are. That's why we recruited you. Go have some fun.
Absolutely. And I don't want to miss this up, and to thank Drew Aller for all that he did for the program, because he went through an awful lot and he hung in there and he did a great job. But I'm going to agree with Jay. Hey, it's a great opportunity. You're going out to play some good teams. This makes it fun. You're out there. This is going to be really fun. You play good teams. Hey, it's a chance for you to show how good you are.
We've seen what can happen when a team that is freed up, UCLA, plays a team that's a little bit tight, Penn State. The offense hasn't exactly been in sync so far this year. One of the big guys up front says they're going to be ready to protect their quarterback.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't think we need to do a whole lot. Just kind of tell him that we're there for him. But he's a competitor, he's a fighter. So, I mean, I have full faith in him getting the job done for us and kind of exceeding expectations.
Certainly no panic from TJ. This team should be able to play a little bit more free without that heavy burden of those championship expectations. It starts against the Hawkeyes in Iowa City Saturday night. Coming up, our coaches scout the Hawkeyes, one of the more difficult Big Ten stadiums to play in, why shoring up the run defense is a must when you face Iowa. More Nittany Game Week is on the way.
The opening drive is sponsored by R&R Express. Every shipment moved contributes to autism research and inclusion through the Excel Foundation. Learn more at wearerr.com. Nittany Game Week is brought to you by West Shore Home, official partner of Penn State football.
Welcome back to Nittany Game Week. 10 wins, 6 losses head-to-head against the Hawkeyes in Iowa City. Kinnick Stadium, one of the more difficult road stadiums in the Big Ten, especially at night. Lest we forget the problems plaguing Penn State's backup quarterback the last time they visited Iowa. Coach Bradley, Coach Paterno, what do we need to know about this matchup under the lights?
Well, the nice thing is now once you get out there, it's all about the football, and it's all about the football. But, Tom, as you mentioned, this is a tough place to go because the fans are very cozy.
Do not get too close to the wall because they can reach out and grab you, which they've already done to me once before.
Yes, so let's talk about what happens between the lines. First of all, players to watch. The quarterback is a good player. They got 2 big-time running backs, an offensive line that has a lot of starts. But got to mention, shout out to Jennings Dunker, the mustache and the mullet, an incredible combination. Guy should be in the Hall of Fame just for that. But let's talk about what goes on in terms of game time. As you know, Iowa always likes to run the football. They have been a zone blocking scheme for a long time. They're going to zone this way. They're going to stretch everybody this way, and the running back's going to run north and south. But what they have different with Gronowski at quarterback now is a legitimate run threat at quarterback, and that changes things, Tom, for you up front.
Big time up front. Now you got to say, okay, we got this covered. Well, what if the quarterback keeps it?
Yep.
Now you have to be aware of that, which slows down your outside guys.
And you'll see on this replay, they got the outside guy has to hesitate, and that hesitation gets them north and south. Now, Gronowski's had a little bit of a knee injury the last couple of weeks. He may be limited in terms of how much he does. Now, Tom, you played to face these guys forever with Kirk Ferentz. 3-level play action passes. You get the play fake here. Guys coming out here like they're going to block and then taking it inside. You got this guy going down the wall. They have a lot of different 3-level ones that they use. Tom, it's just tough when you're trying to play the run and
the run and the pass. And I don't think that passing game has changed in the last 25 years.
No, in fact,
it has not. That's what they do.
That's exactly what they do, and that's why they're good at what they do. Now let's turn over to the defensive side of the ball. Phil Parker's been the coordinator there since 2009. 11 straight years as a top 20 scoring defense. 9 straight years as a top total defense in the country. They've just been really good for a long time. The guy to watch is number 6, and number 6 is going to line up out here. He's a half linebacker, half defensive back. This is their base coverage. They're going to jam your wideouts out here. They're going to match up with your routes if these guys go vertical. They're going to match up with them, and they're going to pattern read. This guy's going to play half the field, but it also frees these guys up when they block to come in and play the run, and that creates problems for a young quarterback to kind of see what's going on. It does,
but one thing I want to say about this defense, you can talk schematically all you want. They are fundamentally sound. They run to the ball, and they tackle well.
Now, let's talk about the run blitzes. When they want to change things up on rundowns, they'll start to walk number 6 in here. They'll bring the linebacker from the backside. They'll do some inside blitzes as well. But when they know you're going to run the ball, Tom, now they'll get up and get a little more aggressive on the outside, and that's a change-up for what a quarterback's looking at.
It's definitely a change-up. One of the things they do, I can't emphasize enough about Iowa when you play them. They do what they do, and they do it well.
And the fact that they know what they're doing, they're able to pattern read. They spend all their time reading what you're doing and not worrying about the adjustments they got to make. So that, with all the motions and stuff, that won't really impact them. Let's talk about them in terms of special teams now. When we talk about special teams, the guy to watch is number 21. He's number 1 in the country in punt returns, number 2 in kick returns, which luckily you got Wosu who can kick it out of the end zone, but you still got to punt to him. 101 all-purpose yards. And again, when you go to Iowa, Tom, they're going to play great defense. They're going to make big plays in the special teams, and here you go. I mean, just you coach this position. How impressive is what he's able to do?
It's very impressive in the fact that, too, that not only people forget sometimes, they go offense, defense. This special teams can turn the game really quickly around and give them a cheat.
No question about it. And this kid, they're going to find ways to get him the ball on offense as well. He plays running back. He plays wide out. Like I said, 101 all-purpose yards, averaging almost 20 yards every time he touches the ball. So that's something to keep an eye on. So when you think about going in this game and you watch Saturday night, you better watch Iowa's defense, their special teams, and their offense. And all 3 phases, you better be sound, Todd.
Thanks, coaches. Of course, Iowa and Kinnick Stadium are now synonymous with the famous wave at the end of the first quarter to the patients in the Family Children's Hospital. Another health initiative powered by the Peyton Walker Foundation here in Pennsylvania is Huddle for Hearts, and the organization focuses on awareness and survival rates of sudden cardiac arrest. And at halftime of the whiteout game, they donated automated external defibrillators to a pair of state college-based organizations.
AEDs are needed when kids are in sudden cardiac arrest. It can help restore a normal heart rhythm. So the more AEDs we get out into the public, the more lives we're going to save. We work with different athletes here at Penn State, and through these partnerships, we get AEDs out into communities. So it's a great way to save lives. Huddle for Hearts is definitely protecting hearts and saving lives across the country.
And wrestler Tyler Kasich and basketball player Caden Mingo were on hand for the donation. Cooper Cousins and Kyron Hudson from the football team, also part of the athlete partnership with Huddle for Hearts. Up next, his contributions to the program are many. New Year's 6 bowl victories, a Big Ten championship, 2 playoff wins, and a berth in the national semifinals, just to name a few. We dedicate the next segment to Coach Franklin and his impact on the Penn State football program. Nittany Game Week returns after this.
Impact Interview is sponsored by the Pocono Mountains, where small town charm meets big adventures. Book your trip today by visiting PoconoMountains.com.
This part of the show is usually reserved for our Impact Interview. We're going to stick with the Impact and pass on the interview for 1 week. For the first time in almost 12 years, James Franklin is not the head coach of the Nittany Lions, and this is probably my favorite video of Coach as he celebrates a Fiesta Bowl win by battling the confetti with a big smile. He guided PSU through some unprecedented changes in college football over his time at the helm. Hired in January of 2014, he hit the ground running with his high-energy style.
I just started actually drinking coffee here recently in the last year, but I've always been a guy that up playing all day when I was a kid or working.
New to the coffee world, the early riser becomes the 16th head coach in Penn State history and makes his priorities very clear from the start: family and recruiting.
We are going to dominate the state. We are going to dominate the state. We are going to dominate the region.
While his recruiting efforts concentrate at home in the Keystone State, his first win comes overseas in Ireland against Central Florida. In fact, his first year starts and ends with a game-winning field goal as the Nittany Lions pull off a dramatic win in the Pinstripe Bowl at Yankee Stadium to cap off the season. The Big Ten championship season of 2016 starts out pedestrian, just 2-2, and in a funk against Minnesota. This Trace McSorley to Irvin Charles touchdown is the wake-up call, with Saquon Barkley high-kicking his way to an overtime victory over the Golden Gophers. 3 weeks later comes the earthquake. Marcus Allen blocks the Buckeyes' field goal attempt. Grant Haley scoops it up for a return for the ages. He falls into the end zone, and Penn State has the best and most memorable win of the James Franklin era. An epic celebration follows, as does a Big Ten championship game victory over Wisconsin later in the season that allows Franklin to lift the hardware in Indianapolis. His record in New Year's 6 bowl games is exemplary. Fiesta Bowl victory over Washington after the 2017 season. Micah Parsons wreaks havoc on Memphis in the 2019 Cotton Bowl. A Rose Bowl W against Utah after the 2023 campaign. And then in 24, back-to-back postseason victories. Many of his current and former players and coaches have publicly expressed their love and support. Penn State fans appreciate his efforts, but are confident he's reached his peak at PSU. His services will be in high demand, and his numerous accomplishments are now part of the rich tradition of winning in Happy Valley.
Best of luck to Coach and his family in their future. Make sure you go to NittanyGameWeek.com for more on Coach Franklin, as we did more of a podcast about some of his accomplishments, what happened with the situation as Jay, Tom, and I discussed the whole thing, and of course got into detail about the responsibilities for new interim head coach Terry Smith. All can be found at NittanyGameWeek.com. And don't go anywhere. Still to come, Tom hands out his scrap medal to a guy who's been patiently waiting for his chance to carry more of the offensive load. We're heading into the final minutes on Nittany Game Week.
Nittany Game Week is brought to you by West Shore Home.
Scrap Metal is sponsored by Burke and Bradley Orthopedics. Located in Pittsburgh, Burke and Bradley Orthopedics is a comprehensive sports medicine practice, providing patients with the most current and innovative approaches in diagnosis and treatment.
Time to recognize some individual excellence in the Northwestern game, and it goes to a guy who's been patiently waiting to take a leading role on this team, Tom.
Senior running back Katron Allen gets the start on homecoming, and he delivers with another productive day carrying the ball. He gets 16 rushes and finishes the day with 90 yards, averaging 5.5 yards every time they hand him the ball. He adds another touchdown to his career total of 30. He's a punishing runner. Opponents are in no hurry to get in front of him to try and bring him down.
It's trivia time. Last week's question: in 1994, Penn State had a 21-point comeback win, which was a school record. In 2010, they tied that record. Which teams did they defeat in those games? Illinois and Northwestern. Our winner is Elena Seaman from Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. This week's question: who was the last Penn State interim head coach to win a game on the road, and which team did they beat?
Penn State fans, make sure you check out our Nittany Connect network at NittanyGameWeek.com. We're partnering with businesses that support the show and letting our viewers know about their great products and professional services. Make sure to check out NittanyGameWeek.com for all of our web exclusive content. We have a much more detailed podcast about this whole situation with Coach Franklin and what the team faces moving forward. So please make sure you go to NittanyGameWeek.com to check that out. Also previous episodes and interviews. The Nittany Game Week podcast all can be found at one convenient location, NittanyGameWeek.com. And while you are visiting the website, make sure to submit your tailgating and other pictures supporting the blue and white. We always finish with some pride picks. For Jay and Tom, I'm Todd. Thanks so much for watching Nittany Game Week. We'll see you next time.